Many sites need some kind of search functionality. Here I've got a basic Astro blog, and we're going to build out this search. So I can type something like Markdown, and even if I misspell it, you can see that I actually get Markdown. It's a fuzzy search, and we're doing this all client side. Now, one of the hardest things with Astro when it comes to adding search is just deciding how you want to do it. By default, Astro ships no client-side JavaScript, but it does include options for including things like React or Svelte or some of these more dynamic frameworks. But before we get into how we're going to do this, let me show you what we're going to build. As you can see here, we're going to build something on the homepage where we can type in like MDX. Even if this is misspelled, there it goes, it gets MDX right here. And then it will actually list off anything that matches our search query. Now, when we're actually on the search route, you can see as I type, not only does it update my search result here, and it makes sure that this stays up to date, but also it's updating the URL and also even the title of the actual page itself. And you can share this with anyone, and then they would get the exact same search results you do. This obviously links to each of these pages, so I can click in here and see that as well. So you can add this kind of search templating anywhere on this Astro site. Now, in order to do this, we're going to have this search component here that we're going to create right here. And as we search, it's going to basically grab JSON content of our posts. Then it will return that to us and use a library called FuseJS to then do the fuzzy searching. Now I'm using Fuse because it's super lightweight, so you can run it on the client without a lot of penalty and actually get back live search results as people type. We're actually setting this off as its own route, and that way you can share that route to somebody else, and they basically get all those results when they enter in that URL. We're also going to protect this with something called DOM Purify that will allow us to strip out any malicious code that a user might add. In the end, we have a lightweight, performant client-side search that allows you to add search to any kind of basic site. Now, we are going to be using static site generation, and this is where I want to start talking about how you might implement this in Astro. I've chosen a particular path, but there are lots of different options available to you. By default, because it serves no client-side JavaScript by default, usually when you go to an Astro page, it sends a request to the server, and the server sends back HTML. There are basically two paths for you, though. If I come down here, you're going to see you can choose static site generation, which is the default. What that does is basically pre-build all the HTML pages. When you go and ask for a page from the server, then it basically gives you this. Let me go ahead and drag this over here, and it just passes you back an HTML page because it's already pre-rendered and ready to go. It's statically rendered, so it's very, very quick. However, you can also do something called server-side rendered. So in Astro, you can choose a renderer that allows you to do this. Basically, the difference is when you request, it doesn't already have the HTML, but it has the code to generate that HTML. So it will generate that HTML, and then, same kind of thing, it passes back a plain HTML page. Now, this is different from something like React. What React does is the very first time you get back, you don't get back HTML, you get back JavaScript. And then every subsequent request, every time you want to ask something else, you can come in here and you start to ask, and guess what interrupts it? JavaScript. That's right. And then it grabs this and it basically says, hey, I'm going to just fill the DOM with what I know it needs because I already got my initial page load. And now React will basically intercept that request and generate that back for you. Now, Astro gives you a couple different options. You can actually do just static site. You can do just server side. And this should say server side rendered, or actually rendering technically. So you could server-side render, which again does all this. You can also mix the two to where you primarily use static and occasionally use this server-side. Or you can do it the other way where you primarily use server-side and occasionally pre-built pages. What we're going to do is stick with the most basic. This is the default right here. And I'm going to trust that if you know how to do server-side rendering, or if you know how to do the hybrid options that they give you, that you'll be able to figure out how to apply this to your particular use case. So we're going to keep this as simple as possible and basically say, how can we just use client-side JavaScript on these HTML pages that get sent back over here? And let's say we have some JavaScript that then gets embedded here as well. This is client-side that we're sending back from the server that's been pre-built. How can we use this to basically generate our search? Now, like I mentioned, you could use something like React if you want to and have a particular React component. You could also do this server side so that when you hit a request for the search page, it does all the logic and then spits it back. But again, I want to keep it the most simple implementation of just a static site search. Now, just to briefly mention, you can grab all the code you need for all 8 lessons directly here on my GitHub link, which will be in the description. Lesson 1 is this lesson, and then subsequent lessons, you can grab the finished code from each of those if you ever get stuck. Now, even though there are 8 parts, it's a relatively short series. In fact, I've released the entire thing as one single video for all my Patreons, and when the series is done, I will post it as well on YouTube live for everyone. Okay, are you ready to build this thing out? Let's go. Hey, what's up? My name is Chris, and welcome to Coding in Public. All right, so with that preview out of the way and the access to the code in the description, let's go ahead and get this thing up and running. I've got the astro.build website up. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this opening command. We'll actually add Astro Search as the name here, and that way we can just go ahead and skip that first question, which is what should we name the project? As you can see, I'm using 2.66. You can grab the same code if you want to do that, or whatever you're using should work with the project that we've got started. I'm going to use the blog template, and the reason I'm using this is just to speed things up a bit on our side. Let's go ahead and install the dependencies. All right, as far as TypeScript, I don't want to overcomplicate this tutorial, so we're not going to use TypeScript. And let's go ahead and initialize a new Git repository. And that's it. Let's go ahead and cd into Astro Search, and I'm going to open this up with code.mb. and be right back with you. All right, so just like that, we've got this open VS Code on the left, and here is just the astro.build on the right in Chrome. Let's go ahead and now come inside here and just type npm run dev. This dev command is what's given to us by Astro in the package.json by default. That should come over here, and we should be able to open up local host, and it's 3000. All right, there we go. And I think I'm a little zoomed in here, so let's zoom out a touch just to see the normal size. So just like this, we've got this blog. This is what we're going to query right here. It looks like I've used this same template in the past because it's remembered I've clicked into these. All right, so if you've gotten this far, you're up and ready to go. So I will see you in the next lesson, lesson 2, where we will add our search input bar.